Okay, yabo akwaba bra aropa dwere pajumadi so I have original TV esumede de bo amada akwan is waiting from a lawyer na aropa yedi nkomo no na nsam dodo a abadwa so na ne abadwafo esi eho enkonwa odonyamfo Timothy Ataboadey Awontiirim former member of parliament for Bulsa North constituency and aropa so Frederick Kofi Ameyaw. And so our Hanamo, head of information, permanent mission of Ghana to the UN, and a member of the New Patriotic Party, NPP. But before, Makwaba.
Yeah.
Arabo, let's say.
Great.
Nice
meeting again.
Nice meeting you again. Yes.
Now, this is my first time mission on set.
Asia on set.
Yes, I think this is my first time too.
Okay, the first time, second time, several times.
But I watch you a number of times on other platforms. I think Metro and other TV stations and so on. So even though we haven't met, we have met in the spirit.
I'm really humbled by
we have met.
But our statement here inconclusive.
Why?
Either he's doing well or not. You seeing him or watching him?
Yes. In fact, I can say he's doing well. I can say that he's not doing. Depending on where I stand, and my well is not your well. You understand?
I know.
So that's why I just left it there.
And so far as he won't speak in your favor.
Yes, but the issues are that once we normally tackle messaging instead of the messenger, then I'm always cool with that.
Okay.
Because all of us in this country, we are stakeholders to the good governance of the state as we wish for ourselves. And, if you comment, he comments, or whosoever that comments are, let's look at the message, near forward. I mean, that has always been my trend.
All right.
And you will never see me going for any personality. But I will hit hard on the issues when they come up. I've met you on a number of occasions.
Sure. All right. Once again, Mama Kwaba. The latest, I think, go viral has to do with PORC, Electricity Company of Ghana, and Ghana Water Company, requesting tariff increments. Water Company saw more per 334%, and ECG saw more per 148%. But what I'm reading, and I said explanation I'm getting from somewhere, and it said these increments, won't be a year a day, yen. So let me read this. I said, attention, dear media fellows, 148% proposed by ECG in their tariff proposal document is distribution service charge 1. Distribution service charge 1. This is not end user tariff or the tariff electricity consumers are to pay. End user tariff is the mean or average of the distribution service charge, transmission charge, and bulk generation charge. When the three are put together, PURC will then decide what is fair to both generators, distributors, and power transmitters. So what we understood initially, and it said, ECG said, almost pay increment of this percentage, and our water companies will say, almost pay this percentage. And that is what is actually going viral. But for now, yenti as you say, almost to canium, no matter water, insurance, so emu. I think with this, any fair, Anna.
Maminchia, and I'm Naminchia opening honorable. Na minchia shefoni na menya akunya kese atise no ebe fata se mechia me papa Steven Ayesu in team.
Okay.
MPP national chairman hopeful nyame ya domwa mechia no baby owo so ohwe the ekoso sisi a not just Ghana you asia afana nyina as a result of Yare could COVID. And unfortunately, the war between Ukraine and Russia. No, ama insurance and so born the Ahochiraba. Ahochira yenina yajitum precope or man penny jitum, penny for more bemu najitum. Inti Amani oma boss why then akosoro and you are ne boa akosoro. I don't want to bore you with the figures so far. So if we have a situation, me no can say lorry first and transportation first. Yeah, so I think 20%. And then workers are also agitating for an increase. Inflation are cover almost 19%. So if in a situation like this, now we are about to hear an increase in electricity tariffs, water tariffs, we are Ghanaian and we are a citizen, you have to be worried. But the reality is that a dream Mpensenmpensenmu and find out, and I'm not sure, and it will never happen, that the increase that is quoted over 100% will be how much government and I said the regulatory bodies will pass on to consumers. Yeah, you will feel. But I wouldn't be too surprised if there will be any form of increase. Okay. But astronomical, I said yeah, quoting.
The 148 and 334.
Yes, it won't happen. It will never happen that way. So having established these things, Adibakuna message Ghana for not to take us back too much. The reality is that enyoma bo iodine, and sometimes we have to be commensurate. And I bring this government in the picture against the backdrop of the fact that we have been faithful to the people.
Okay.
We have been sensitive to the people. So Oshia Yeba Bemu 2017. In fact, Yeba we reduced electricity tariffs. 2018, to the extent that businesses, we reduced it by 30% for them. Households, we reduced it by 17.5%. I think it was 2019, increasing it by 11%. Then in 2020, what I say, we just gave it out. Electricity, we gave some reduction. I think water was even free throughout. So now we are in 2021, we are in 2022. Ghana for we are in challenging moments and challenging times. A year or more generating power, no more distributing, because of the increase in air product globally, it will be a bebwa, say the reliable source of air and a supply of electricity and water. Say so you contribute kakra. So that omit me amo jumano omo here omo kakra. Having established that matise mronu bi wo hwa insu ho akwatwe mese mpanifo say omobema omoni akoho insu in time flows. So we are hoping say whilst they are demanding and calling for an increase, they will as well ensure say Ghana for benya insu anum. As far as electricity is concerned, I think say aban we are born humodin be against where we have come from at some points. For almost 4 years now, at least now we have relatively constant supply of power. And again, the point has to be established. Say, we the new patriotic party under His Excellency Nana Danko Akufo-Addo has exhibited a lot of competence in the regime of these utilities in terms of reduction in the tariffs or making sure say. We have reliable supply of those utilities now. That notwithstanding, Ghana for investors it's difficult to tell the Ghanaian that it's realistic to pay. It's extremely difficult, especially in this excruciating moment. But something had to be done. And I am glad as a Ghanaian say at the end of the day, we are not in a government that would have told us, say, no, you have to pay more to get more. No, we are not in that system. We are not in a system where the government will tell us because our equipment adults, we need to start paying more so that we are not in that regime and that era. And that makes me glad as a Ghanaian say at least in 2014 there's a government that will say yes, even though you deserve this proposal in terms of the increments, but I am sensitive to the people and I will do whatever it takes to cushion them. Inti message ebio say Ghana for enya otoso say what has been quoted is not what they will see. ekopem se aban be didi nkomo wankasa wo kire mu ekopem se enye nyoma bi wo ho a omo kika kukukuku mo enye the consumer no eno na ebetua nya. So for me it shouldn't have come at this time, but especially when things are difficult, but it has to be done so that at the end of the day we would. But whilst that is there's an admittance saying we are clear, say government is making effort to address this economic challenge. That is why you have seen where we were doing about 0.14% growth in GDP. Now we are doing about 5.4%. That means saying kakran no, we are weaning ourselves out of the COVID effect, and Mr. Ghana forcing me aboche na mahwe se aban betimi aboa na atutu nyoma ye na obia enya ahoto.
All right. So still on this, but betimi I send a WhatsApp message and I said obetimi join in Facebook Live Original TV GH na yeni enkomo no fo adwenche ebra. So Frederick Kofi Ameyaw and Wakasa, head of information, permanent mission of Ghana to the UN, and a member of the New Patriotic Party. Honorable Awontiirim.
Yes, my team in Yanepa, Jana Minchia, Ashafone, Tiofone. You see, here we go again. When you start, you see COVID, you see Ukraine, and then a Russia crisis, and then you know the cost of living and the cost of operations have gone up. Indeed, we do accept that it had an impact on the provision of services the Ghanaian people who voted for them. We do accept that COVID did not only affect Ghana, because Ghana is an island, so we are in the oasis of nations.
Yeah.
In Tinebasana, we are able to compare between Ghana and our neighbors. We even go far to see whether the same COVID now hit here, no, is the same COVID that hit our neighbors like Togo, Ivory Coast, and then Burkina Faso. You see, but our situation is self-inflicted. And Anuntina, John Dramani Mama call Harvard School of Business or call CASA, in MP before the Gina no Kosi, or say COVID has affected all nations, including Africa. All the countries in Africa. But that of ours was self-inflicted. Self-inflicted because the COVID period also gave us an opportunity. The total amount is over $6 billion. According to Tekwe analysis, how you enjoy, the total amount is over. Yes, okay. $6 billion. You understand? Even by our calculation, because when you look at even the World Bank, and then the IMF, and 2 billion. You come to the Bank of Ghana, the amount of money over the 10 billion they give the stabilization even and also. To calculate, and then our president in the bar said, over 33 billion was taken and pumped into the elections. When you are now about the cost of living, it's a reality. We can't run away. In fact, rent is going up. Just yesterday, my landlord told me that the rent is increasing it. He has indeed increased it. You understand? Transportation, and passengers, truck drivers, no more. And interestingly, we share commercial vehicles now. You see diesel. Most of the commercial, more than 70–80% of the commercial vehicles use diesel. But diesel no born out over 10 cities, over 11 cities. Obviously, adding on to the already cost of living amount for issue food items have gone up. Food inflation has gone up. Inflation, as we talked this morning, is over 19.4% of any item that you buy. It's a reality out there. There's no massaging the figure. There's no romancing the figures, and so it's a reality because he who feels it knows it. And I'm a catcher. Say, me bana me didn't go school SS. SS just recently, my brother. I bought items over 3,000, even including the free HSS. No, I had to pay for bed 200, and I didn't blame the authority because they told us that say I'm trying. Better form and I effect. So I really gave my 200 and so on. This has added to the cost of all parents who send their school this year. No, a free HSS policy that is good, but fraught with problems. It is say the implementers of the policies, you cannot correct the problems that comes with the implementation of that policy. Most of the policies that MPP apply buy and part more. They were populist policies. For instance, reducing fuel, reducing cost of utilities, and turn around and say that you are a caring government. While we reduce one tier utilities, For instance, if the cost of reducing fuel or electricity is 1 billion, 1 billion, one tier utility, it is hanging on. It is hanging on their books. The government have said, let's reduce electricity, don't pay. But government has not reimbursed the institution that produces the services. It is our cost also. Government, they talked about excess production.
But I understand the Minister for Water and Sanitation, Abenadapa, Ebeka and said, government at Triamuka.
The Benobeka, you see, my brother,
yes,
we are in this,
that.
You can Google out. You can
I remember
the information.
That. So I've been in this industry.
And government, look, my
yes.
brother, government often, here now we know we're in government, we've been in government. Government, no bet my bas, it has been happening several
okay.
times.
But to the best of our knowledge,
yes, that is the information
the
they
information
give.
given out
between day and then the service provider. But share or be catch about things we tria. So ko books no man sikani ni ho be cover up. If you do that because you want to gain political acceptability and try to say that because no more position catch some bar issues like ESLA be cancelled because it's a nuisance tax. But me no kasa no pay ESLA there say an ka ho sem po because omo dey akwaji loan account ho. Oman cancelling the increase. The ESLA was supposed to be for 5 years. It has increased. We've gone beyond that. Well, sir, this issue, look at these are proposals anyway, where the PURs, like my brother said, would not in any way agree to this over the 100 and so hikes in prices and so on. And by Adiana or Kayan, Omoka say it is not going to be an end user paid. Say, yeah. But how are they going to get the money? They are not. They are not in a state that they are making that kind of profits for the cost of paying you. Because these are mostly subsidized issues because they touch on the spirit and soul of the Ghanaian people. What they make if I am almost increases sana, share COVID via who told Vice President Bawumia to come and compare the cost of handling an emergency or a national pandemic like this and the time and air power and electricity crisis, there was absolutely no need for comparison. But for populist propaganda sake, Obana quickly he came and compared that to show what? Look, it has relapsed. Government is feeling the impact of the cost of living of the people and the pressure on it. And there's no money. Look at the current budget now, the buyer. Over the 100 million now more project turn on more geno. Nina into the payment of interest on debt amortization, salaries, and then statutory funding. No, I don't want to be trade. The government needs to the baby. And Crossack is demanding there are strikes here and there's pressure. But now who calls them? One that this pressure and a better government. So, because government banning the promises. And I'm up to your safe here. But you continue to promise as if you are beginning. You continue to do daily promises. Yet you should refrain from promises and face the reality and tell Ghanaians that as some are between, like the way my brother spoke this morning, said Ghana should. Yes, it's true. But is that how your leaders speak? But Bawumia a chance or call Kaswa, so called Kasano. That was the language Bawumia should have spoken to the people of this country.
Which language?
The way you spoke this morning, you were saying that Ghanaians should see the reality and bear with us.
That's what exactly
that wasn't what he said. In fact, he went to justify.
He admitted that
he justify.
He admitted.
I'm not painting a picture to let it look that it's a COVID-Ukraine situation. What I expected him to do hasn't experienced in Ghana for the past 6 years, no, the first thing was for him to even go and admit, 5 minutes talk, go and admit and say, look, we admit that we said A, B, C, D. Now, we said the name and we didn't, I overwhelmed, I'm back together. Now, chichir come, now move, your friend is saying, government and go forward. But what's on now? You still want to propound theories. You still want to justify an already debilitating situation now. Then now, catch a man for Chrome. A chess, I won't call now, I know family, the more enjoy. You are not looking at the 30 or so million people. And that is the issue, the honesty to admit.
All right.
Say, Niamana, Yabetuno, now engine this says, I know about engine this COVID, engine this Ukraine, but you continue to justify.
But he admitted that.
Share utility,
Pentecost Convention Center number 4.
What's that?
Mr. Pentecost Convention Center Mikobi.
It doesn't matter whether you call him.
So he admitted that.
They would tell me they admit here. If you admit and you justify, it nullifies the admission.
Okay, the admission.
If I say I am sorry,
admitting.
If I say I am sorry, then I go to explain and justify why I wronged you. I've nullified the sorry. Yes, I've nullified it complete. If I tell that I'm sorry for misbehaving towards you, ABCD, then I go to justify why my behavior was untoward towards you, know. And no, and chess my
okay, so let me declare say government Sika. Government paid 1 billion to ECG and 180 million to Ghana Water Company.
Yeah,
for
the
the
Ghana
free water and free electricity.
Yes, you have quoted free electricity. No, they say even as we talk now. The utility service even admitted, I don't know when this statement came, I don't know the date.
Okay,
said they've not paid, but even in a case, you remember, sir, Minister for Information, Bakache said, free, no, we have to pay, and you're free. That statement has not been retracted. Into no government in poetry, it means that so how
do government get money?
No, but admit that.
Admit what?
No. Government get money. Government get money through prudent collection of the taxes and making judicious use of that money. The waste, the corruption.
Okay.
If the minister says
the non-use of the money for purposes for which it has been collected has been the issue that we face, my brother. If, for instance,
I hope I'll get
yes, honorable.
Na kanu kunya the next year. Why is no? What they are baby? But at the end of year now with the one fancy into no cost
misapplication of funds.
No, this is not misapplication of funds.
No, it's my president of them.
No, I want to keep quiet.
So what is cancer with the dying? And I
That's not the situation.
You understand? Into the issue that confront this government is that if you have collected over 6 billion during COVID time, we did see projects. Into a consumption hospitals are mostly 80 to 111. We did see with the 1 billion push into a health facility. You didn't do it. So where did the money go to? That's why we are asking for forensic audit.
I remember a year East Hospital, no? This can be called.
You see, when we are doing and you are bringing pettiness, East Hospital, $6 billion.
East Hospital, you're pettiness.
Look,
but you made a statement and he's trying to correct you. It's not pettiness. So the fact that doesn't satisfy you.
Where's Ghana
East Hospital?
Where's the Ghana East?
The COVID-19.
This can be called.
Yes.
It means the project was then only be called. And yes, sir.
That was the timer.
Ghana East project, no, it's not Eurojet 2008.
Yeah, so
it's not 2008.
So you see,
it started even under
you are justifying for them as a newspaper. You should be putting them on their toes.
No, what I know is what I am telling you.
Yes.
That is what I know.
Even we had private entities led by Senior Hussein's group to build up that emergency center for the people of this country. Government didn't put a persuade there. Couldn't government have built something like that? Couldn't our laboratories and whatever would have been retooled? We have our frontier health service or more airport. Millions of dollars, not on behalf of this country. Satam the frontier health services by and you couldn't more than 6 ministers appear before parliamentary vetting committee. They couldn't tell us how it came.
All right.
So that time we advocated that Noguchi should have been made to do it to be able to.
Thank you. But you didn't tell us if electricity company of Ghana and water company say there is a request or more request.
No, I say these are just proposals into PURC would go into, like my brother said, that it's not going to be over 100% increment.
To you,
so to me,
PURC I agree amount.
Normally they will bring the proposal. So PURC will not agree to increase 334% 100 over 40. PURC will not do that because those utilities are not cut in absolute profit. It is a subsidized area because of the importance of it to the people of this country.
All right.
So I'm not so much in tariff. Do you know the serious
implications? All right.
Opening, I think the honorable Okutani topics. So. But
when I start, I'm different. You start. Even a topic where
can I
go on? Go ahead.
I can say I think it needs to be corrected for the benefit of a washer for new for. First of all, the issue of a insurance COVID-19 self-inflicted. Anybody that makes that argument, now I'm in tears, if not for partisan interest. Example, say OSHA COVID, now I see your neighbors. OSHA COVID, you have to situate it in the spectrum of what mitigating factors were instituted or established by a particular government. You can't say COVID, for that matter, the effect, and I say the relapse, and I say your friends say, recover should be the same. No. Also, OSHA individual countries, no, and I'm on 2 years. What I say? For example, in this country, you close hospitality industry and tourism industry for over a year. Do you know how much government will lose? And he mentioned 6 billion. Well, let's assume that is right, even though the source no suspect because suspect. But let's look at what we lost as a country as compared to the 6 billion. First of all, tax revenue, we lost about 14 billion Ghana cedis as a result of COVID. Okay. Then unexpended expenditure was about 13 billion Ghana cedis. Now, you close hospitality industry for over a year. Do you know how much you lose? You close the tourism industry for over a year. Do you know how much you lose? Government ensured that about 11 million people, including students and staff, were being fed for several months.
How much?
Essential supplies were given to them. Okay, then you talk about feeding about 4 million people. Menoka say in Ghana, even in the United States of America, they were not even doing that. So, Ojarina Oko Hospital, Unya COVID, all your expenses, everything was borne by the government. Everything from the day you'll be admitted to the day you'll be sent home. Even you do Kofi Ekrana. So if government takes these measures, schools are your tool, private schools are very effective. You think it doesn't affect? Hold on. Relax. You don't think that will affect the economy when the teachers will not be paid? On private school teachers, they will not be paid, they will be laid off and all of that. It doesn't affect the growth of the economy. It doesn't affect our expenditure pattern. It doesn't affect our budgetary lines. So if you are realistic, on one hand, when you go to another country, you admit that COVID has a great impact on the economies of Africa. But when you come to Ghana, your homeland, you tell us, oh, and they are self-inflicted. Yes. And why is the self-infliction that you are talking about?
Because of the amount of money you took.
You are saying amount of money, but every penny, you've been a former member of parliament with the greatest of respect. Every money spent by this government is being accounted for. In fact, the budget, you go to the appendices, which we don't usually talk about. Every expenditure of the government is accounted for, even in the budget. Every expenditure, if a peso is accounted for.
But recently, the health minister was taxed by parliament or so I'm accounting for COVID-19 maybe. But
on the issue of the COVID-19, again, our constitution is clear. How government accounts, government expenditure should be accounted for.
Okay.
There's a constitutional provision for it. That is why we have the Public Account Committee, we have the Auditor General. They will do their own thing, but the minority is calling for an independent, like an institution outside these institutions to come and do it. And the government of the day is saying that let the institutions that are mandated by law to do it.
But that is also allowed.
It's okay. But we also believe that it's okay. Nobody has a problem with that.
Independence, they are
right. We are also right. And I'm very well. Now, let's go back to the issue of the Okan about Dr. Bawumia in Kaswa. I think there is the agenda of the NDC to just paint the man black. But, I mean, he has paid his dues. He will continue to pay. He's a fine gentleman. And for me, he will serve Ghana well in any capacity he will find himself. Having said that, the first statement of Ba, say with that course, everything we are going through, Abanji tum prekope. And he went on to mention that people are suffering, prices are increasing. But he has a mandate, and government has a mandate. Okay? We are enjoined by the Constitution to account to the people, tell them why we are suffering. So if the Vice President mounts a stage, addresses the people through that medium and that place, and tells the people, we admit that you are suffering. Hitherto, the president through the finance minister, budget statement, paragraph 20, had admitted, say, "Adia a man intiminda," and he said, "I want you to be Ghana for so." Then the vice president repeated same, and then he has a mandate to explain to the good people of this country what has Adina Amat Sanya Manaba, what's in his Okakasa. Why? He has a mandate to explain to the people. Baby, they do Sika, and he, for the first time in the history of this country, a government has accounted for every penny spent on every flagship program. We're able to tell Ghanaians we spent 5 billion on free SHS. Please. We were able to tell the good people of this country how much we spent on every flagship program. You catch him on the
Auditor General audit reports.
Opportunity.
All right.
All right. Opportunity. I'm going to say, I'm going to project in did they even establish any flagship program in this country in a national character? They been put that. I'll make my account into it. So I don't create any issue. But you see, when Yenyam Pennyfor, especially our friends from the other side, and you have to understand that the Ghanaian has almost free TV anymore. That are now from propaganda secretary, department of your party, where you just spill propaganda, mislead the people. That doesn't count. What I want to say to the people of this country and to your good self, the Ghanaian appreciates this government. The Ghanaian, Enim say, when COVID struck, this government came to their aid, intervened, pushing them to the extent that the president promised them that the economy will be dead. We will suffer economically. But I am willing and ready to allow the economy to die rather than you dying.
So what did he do in terms of that?
Wait. When we went through a similar situation where the Ghanaian was suffering as a result of your incompetence in the energy sector, what did you do to cushion them? When every single day businesses were losing $2 million, according to the Institute of Statistical and Social Research, what did you do to cushion the Ghanaian? Instead, you were insulting us. You told us, May 2015, May they said smart business people will use generators to operate their businesses. When Ghanaian youth were suffering and didn't have jobs, and they came to ask the president that give us jobs, the president told them, say, make a bro for dodo. Okache Ghana for mebunu say, onye magician. Now no ama Ghana for mebunu ejuma. What I say? Tama Ghana for kem esu. Say nkania ni ho, yeni nkania. Udim the end this year. 2012 doom so sha say no. They increased electricity tariff by 78%. 2013, 28%. 2014, 58%. So cumulatively, no, omo increased tariff by 166%, even when we didn't have light in this country. We paid more than a worker. So the point I want to establish is that yes, we as a government, the MPP government, we admit that we are not in good times. We admit that we are in challenging moments. But we also know that a young and a waterman, you was a being there, I bet me a peja ye free, Tibia, you won't see a cop baby, a yamapoma bia. Ya ye bida, Momunye bida, Muntimiso nyada. And you know, we have to situate this conversation. The president said, one, it would take the new patriotic party government competent enough to ensure that we go back to our glorious days.
Okay.
Two, it would take an MPP government to ensure that at the end of the day, the Ghanaian sufferings will be addressed.
Okay.
These people can do it.
But lest we forget, Honorable, before you come in now.
Okay.
2021, Ghana Revenue Authority exceeded its revenue collection target for the year 2021 by 265 million. Let's now work as a Mulusu, a year friend is saying revenue a bit brave, but in 2021.
We are talking about COVID. COVID was heavy in 2020. I'm talking about.
Oh yes, it was heavy in 2021, but about 2020,
that's what,
2021.
And I mentioned that it will take a competent government to say MPP to ensure say your core crisis more. Obey me a page your free more about my poma bia.
So that shouldn't bring a hunch to us.
Oh, I want to know. Yeah, see, we have a disruption in global supply chain. Omwa sebi container boa na ye 1,500 and number 9,000. Definitely it will affect prices on the market and in the market. Or a situation where I am Mpensenmpensenmu this comparison, but it's important. Oko US, for example, I say this with the greatest of humility. Up to now, there's a store called At Home. Omoton, Sanyoma, we furniture near there. There are about 4 hours. Still, amunya supply in Kogu because baby amunya free China no and bim begum. There were times in the US, said toilet roll, was even difficult to come by. Even in Suani Benum Krano, it was difficult. Oko a grocery store, a shopper, it would be difficult to even get a pack of water to buy.
All right.
What I say. So I am saying that we've gone through all these situations. What I say, if you have an economy that was growing at 0.14%. And now you are 1.4%. And now you are growing at 5.4%. We will get there.
All right. Honorable Awontiirim, ECG water company issue ya yegusu ayeka ho asemo. What I have here and say ECG declare 625.34 million Ghana cedis as bad debts. Say yentungu, and this from 2019. Eba eka omuntime nyeje amfo ede omoka omko so omuntua ene eka hu sese eka we there is no way yensa betimi aka omo de akwakoma eye PULC say PULC and declare as bad debts na mfiom system no emu.
You know, my brother said a lot of things. Remember Honmo.
Sure.
But to just go to that, when say ye leave power no. ECG, they made a profit. Netco made a profit. Greco made a profit.
Okay.
How come we have gone to this stage? Even the fact that no culture say we increased tariffs by over 160 and we are incompetent in managing the energy sector. Our incompetence made your friend is saying this utility service providers and a profit. So they were not owing.
Okay.
Rural electricity expansion because how have they extended the rural electricity and so on? Beyond that, my brother, I will say they fed about 11 million people in this country. The population of Accra,
Students, including staff.
One was population in Kumasi,
but it was all over.
Maybe you didn't feed the northern region. What is all over?
all students across the country.
No, my brother.
I'm not talking about lockdown period. No, let me correct it. It's not a lockdown period. I'm talking about when the students went to school.
How much did you feed them? How much? Do you know
It's in the budget.
It's in which budget? Look,
it's in the budget.
Let me tell you something. Your same budget is telling us that. You are telling us that 254 million. Mudito hand sanitizers. 107 mudito fabric nose mask.
Yeah.
Fabric nose mask. The expenditure that you did were frivolous. They were not.
So now we accounted for it.
Look.
At one hand, you said we didn't account for it.
Would you allow me to
go ahead.
If you are saying that now I'm counting for it, even His Excellency the President couldn't account for it, I will appear before the parliament to give the state of a nation at the also COVID expenditure is saying. Just oppose that with the Minister for Finance, and Vice President Baumianso Kawo Kaswa. Different figures, and that alone, you must do a special audit.
Wasn't the same occasion.
You get it? No.
And wasn't
what
the
was
same
the time
day.
frame? 8 million, 17 billion, 18 billion. What time occasion is it?
Are you talking about the excess capacity charges?
What? There be COVID. No, say no, no. What do you mean? That the same period, for different three figures from the trial, for the Minister of Finance, the President himself, and so. And nothing would justify a forensic audit into it. Yet me and say Tihano, you have different figure for issue. We have this thing. One back saying niamfa forensic eba. Diana na mo de ma COVID and crofona mo abonten. Diana mo tutu fruit pick up mo de budget on buying. It was over 50 million Ghana cedis. For how many days? Not a month. Just about a week or two. Intinu so what for government sika taxpayers money now the yes sir. Does it sit well with you that in the face of COVID people were profiting? In the face of COVID, in the face of COVID, national pandemic, who
profited?
They were the service provider were profiting. You set up your friend is saying COVID testing, airport center on mono. Even
so we should allow people to just come into the country.
That's not the issue. You see, procurement process, How did you do it?
On one hand,
no. That is in fact, that has been the crux of the matter.
Okay.
And I will say, when we appear before Parliamentary Appointment Committee, not the Minister of Finance, National Security, not the Minister for Aviation at the time, Kofi, not the Procurement Minister, and said no one could tell how they came. And the amount of money.
How? Really?
Now, I mean, I work how.
The minister said they don't know how or mobile.
What did he say? Oh, no.
What did he say?
Kofi.
Procurement Minister, National Security, Minister for Finance, why? Health Minister. They don't ask, we talk now. How did the procurement process, your friends and frontier license came into? Are you telling me that you don't know? And are you telling me that they didn't appear before Parliament? And you didn't cover your station, man, cover. You are asking me this question as if you were not part of it. They came, more than 6 ministers appeared before. None of them. In fact, the last fellow, about the process, what is happening there, was the Minister for Finance, also on the Oba late. Because no Aqua so to Obano, and he said he couldn't give the information that Parliament requested for. Into normal the put to actually so many. And my brother, you can't say COVID, no, man, handle money in here. Admit because even your own people are calling for forensic audit. Martis, Honorable Titus Glover said they should audit it, and I think Honorable Akumi also. Why you feel like when you're in the kind? Even though we have the National Auditor General Department, I say it goes into every expenditure. But some expenditure way in particular, there's something wrong with it because we cannot put our hand as to how much I have spent for 33 billion. If we are calling for accountability, we are calling for it, and that must be done. All right. But me idea now, me can't say, my brother, we don't listen to the speech. Now again, Wasn't big man there.
So don't you mean didn't come on papa ni?
Nah, your mama saw better than more English vocabulary. More English vocabulary.
I don't know my money.
It's part of.
Have I mentioned his name?
You need not to mention, but why we are prepared so be mentioned? You are prepared to mention. Oh, no, your mama there. Oh no.
No, I mean Dr. Baobia.
No, we are only thinking that it doesn't match up to who he claimed to be at the beginning.
So that is it. Thank you.
Electricity in our
yes.
You see, when we share debt now, some of these that comes as a result of non-payment by even state institutions are almost energy. No,
I wish my producer would get me that.
Once cut off.
Yes.
But the irony I want to say, every state institution agency, no, almost budgeted for cost of electricity.
Yes.
And the Minister of Finance who releases kind of more.
It's added to no
That is where the issue is.
Okay.
Because every state institution,
to the extent that UNDP Kuradika.
Yes. But the budget for it,
so US embassy Kuradika.
Yes. How come say so government releases Kanama agencies no. Normally account no more so be account. So it is not government.
So for purposes of it, you know that once the appropriation of a year funds, no. For example, o budget here, a year financer, or more approve here, you're releasing in quarter. So if you are, say department to be here, and ministry will be here, 2 million. Yeah, the 2 million it's up to you, the ministry, to determine baby usikano. So I think the honor because
if electricity companies, those utility companies, have been consistent.
That is why we are supposed to use it. So when you prepaid now, then
maybe I suggested something. You see, the Minister of Finance and Controller, say all agencies put together, and at the end of the year, let's take it 10 million Ghana cedis.
Okay.
So they should just deduct it. At source, the man won't find home agency.
Okay, never electricity
company ready.
Okay.
One was that, and you use and say we're here for the whole year.
Yes.
If all the agencies putting together, it's 10 million for the utility company. Minister of Finance should they were approved, but they wouldn't pay it to them.
Okay.
That is another way for which this issue can be resolved. Because yes, not poor people are the people who are using, who are paying for this. And government agencies are yet it is budgeted for.
All right. Timothy Ataboadey, Awontiirim here, former member of parliament for Busa North, and Frederick Kofi Ameyaw, head of information, permanent mission of Ghana to the UN, and a member of the New Patriotic Party. Meaning the Boama Dako, Isaac Veteran Framing, lawyer. Youth unemployment, terrorism in Sahel can disrupt Ghana's political stability. This is a report from ONEP. And now can say a mabuma juma enye a bit medio yeni abo man Ghana emu. But thank God, COVID-19, year 11. Say one of the year Muslim over here somebody a bembi juma me mabuma juma. Yesterday we were told by your friend is saying GRA say 1 million one telco a day yet mean 1 million from the e-levy.
That's encouraging. The youth and employment situation a systematic problem. A hard journey. And I believe that reports now Abano. Over UN, now that Ghana is a non-permanent member of the United Nations Security Council, we are privy to a lot of air security issues and matters. And clearly, your sub-region are very volatile. And yet, Papasa, Togo has been attacked, Benin has been attacked, Côte d'Ivoire has been attacked, Burkina has been attacked, Mali has been attacked, so it doesn't look good. So you see that from the north to the south to the east and to the west, they've had one form of attack or the other. That said, of course, it means that there's a possibility, God forbid. So the question now is that again, ebema sa adie no aba. Of course, when you have a youth unemployment on the rise, ma bebunu no why hopeless. You know, he's desperate. He wants a way to be relevant, or per se, or survive the system. And he say, "Obi anybody incommode that no." There's a possibility say Obi giving because at the end of the day, the evil one finds job for the idle hands. Yeah. So, a government priority say at least the youth of this country will be engaged, either even at the formative stages or even after they've completed their tertiary education. That is why the essence of one of the idea here that ban kuma so pai was to ensure say be obi call a is it HS?
Yes.
At least in education no sikasemo ekwa entranketi wo ho obetimi atoa so. And whilst the person is doing that and being engaged not the education component and the ability to develop the skills in Kwan, but it also takes the person away from that ecosystem now. A filter for Obia to pick on and cause this kind of problem. A bill, it was necessary to implement a program like NAPCO. Obia school 5 years, 4 years. On your Juma 1 day, apart from the national service. Okope Juma so a job experience. Government set up a BBA bebuno no we into a school no betimi enye adwuma kakra at least something small 700 cedis now on to me in find twitwa no kakra. So that is not enough. Now when you look at the majority the numbers of in terms of both online, in person, it's producing a lot of graduates. And when you produce a lot of graduates, the expectation is that you also it has to be commensurate with job opportunities. Unfortunately, because of the nature of our system, we haven't been able to match it. And that is because, one, we need to change the fundamental structure of the economy. We have not been able to do that for a very long time. And that means we need to ensure the agricultural products and our produce will be transformed into a finished product. And then they add the value to the product, give us more foreign exchange, and two, also to create job opportunities. We are on course with the one district, one factory. We had hope that in Kabembe to us one but that notwithstanding, I am very optimistic. Say Ghana for they will continue to give us the mandate to be able to implement such wonderful programs. So now coming back to the issue of terrorism and then unemployment.
Yeah.
So we share Shabab for Al Qaeda, we share other militant groups and cells. If you look at the situation really well, now ISIS, Syria, Iraq, because they've been more or less crippled, Omar took it down to North Africa. Now they've turned themselves into insurgents, spread across the Sahel and then the North African countries. Now the danger is that they are continually trickling down onto the Sahel, down to West Africa, the zone, and that makes it dangerous. So if you are not careful, and especially the money more serious, according to facts, is that when Gaddafi was overthrown, the insurgents that were used, the mercenaries that were used, at some point they were, so they've been in the system, and then political actors and people who want power have been using these people to do all this. So that comes back to our local situation. And it's worrying when you find individuals supported by some political party, overthrow of government. And for me, one say, NDC condemn such statement, the strongest terms, like unacceptable, say no, nobody should do that. But I say, Oma Lakadesica, and I recall, correct me if I'm wrong, when the former president, Kasi Ghana, is at crossroads, which is not true anyway, in that public lecture, no, he said, he doesn't support coup and all of that. But he came back and said, say Nyoma and Koye na then. And I'm like, hold on, wait a minute. You don't do that. You don't really do that. No matter, there's no justification whatsoever for such insurgents and all this loose talks. So me 1 year can say the NDC as a political party which has an amount of numbers are Awontiirim condemning some of these things, especially when we have the segregates the trans coming out making statements, meeting here and there to the extent that government security agencies the NDC has not even made a comment on these matters. I think that NDC as a group I have not heard, but Okujato I believe has made a statement to condemn that. So NDC as a political party maintain every opinion to me. So clearly, no, let's be careful. Ghana, we are better off hoping and praying that Abambe Koswa ye the oil so that you bet me ye free rather than say enipa kumebi any nipa kitwe enipa bi bet me abeba abeka so me petu me and now be di nya no ebe say nyoma be so mesre na me be wie no me de futuo ma ye nnuam mmabunu me ho akire me da frankly some time ago no me so ya no pa de medicra na ede what I say na me te obi mantu awo eye kwashima na bebunu minya adwuma nye udi gobe no anopa no a wabonsu a enumre no bebi amete no mbe ya anwa mo no mde eye mekwa aguso ti udi e mo no kakra na wa say we have adechi a would talk gobe na de awono no mix no we've been through that. It's not a beautiful experience, it's not a healthy experience. But mestre munya abotre I know our system but eventually ebema what the ho kakra nti mesre say in temper make a tool quantia to enrich yourselves and all of that no when you're careful this sales no network the terrorism networks and sales no might employ you or engage you to commit atrocities nti mesre mo ya abotre.
All right, thank you. Honorable, what we are reading is death toll. The year Boko issue, no, I believe you are following. 85 as we speak currently. Acquire security issue, no, you'll be add up.
Yeah, you see, insecurity versus youth unemployment, they go together. But youth unemployment is just one of them. Massive corruption can lead to military intervention. Mismanagement of the economy can lead to that. Suppression of press freedom and of freedoms in general can lead to that. Bad governance can lead to that. So the youth unemployment coupled with hardship, economic hardships, is a conduit. Look, my brother talked about the fact that government in Dubai try to arrest unemployment level by creating NAPCO. Or says fine. You said a NAPCO was to employ, to take on 100,000 graduates. Since 100,000 graduates now would take in, you are in your CV here. Have you added onto it? No. Since Mufa 100,000.
The policy was just for 3 years.
Yeah, but you didn't add onto it. And as we talk now, they don't even know their fate. And
the program was out late, and it was just for 3 years. Just for 3 years.
Yes,
so if you say they don't know the outcome,
3 years
it is amazing.
Because they were supposed to be, at the end of the day, acquire skills like you have said, and be all experiences, and be absorbed.
Some we didn't say absorb all of them.
Whatever it is, it was
at least 30%.
But we were also not told some will be absorbed. We were told they will be absorbed into the
not all of them. We didn't say all of them.
No, but America said there wasn't any statement like some of them too. So,
dear me can say, Sapol, in terms say a populist policy, no, a buyer, no.
One more be a Jumayana, Bosum, no,
what is the statistic actually say? We 10,000 people were absorbed into the public space. The Nimina say public space now be drew. No, we have by what is on the Senate payroll, because if a Senate listener, if you go onto the poll, you must obviously pay Senate. The Senate will be the best fellow to give us the accuracy of number of people are absorbed into the public sector.
Oh, but not NABCO itself.
Hello. If you are looking, NABCO can tell you that they put on 100, only 10,000 are public sector. But we call public sector, one thing that is correct and that is undeniable, they say, at least you be a registered Senate contributor. So say 10,000 if it has been absorbed by public sector.
Senate 49,000.
If it has been absorbed by public Senate will be the accurate period to get the numbers read for you, because you cannot work in the public sector won't you Senate. So if Senate goes to the bar, Senate better, but then it complement and either justify or unjustify what has happened.
Okay.
But like I told you, the major issue is that you must have a judiciary that is seen to be non-partisan, a judiciary that dispenses justice without fear or favor. And that judiciary in its pronouncement should be done in the name of the people, because justice emanates from the people.
And we have it?
Well, sir, that according to you have it, because I know the National Security Minister, Abekasa Kandaba, Abekasa, the way judiciary, no, ruling,
or say one year emphatic honorable, or say if judgment no call in our favor all the time. Let's not malign the judiciary. Okay, go on.
He's a national security couple.
Yeah.
Won't mean be fix it a unit direct. But what if Kofi, you know that there's something wrong. It's a national security fellow. Depending on how he will release the information to the public, or on creative fear and panic, and further accentuate the low confidence among forward judiciary. Yes, among forward will take issues instead of going through that process into their own hands. Into a kasana, that means something there. Into yes, it means that those who are in that arm of the judiciary should sit up.
Okay.
And I'm making surveys including GI, and I sure say people are losing confidence in the judiciary. May catch us and yet only youth unemployment. But if sectors of the economy bring hardships, if there's insecurity, if the press is being haunted, if the press, the ratings are going down because of government actions and inaction.
That's not true. That's not true. Because of economic situation among the media, you have to say it. The political climate did not contribute to the low. Why are you doing this? I think say I can't report. I am a moon, yes, sir. What do you mean?
My brother, don't do that to me. Even this weekend, one of your major media stations, Joy News, interview your media people, they said their own stories.
That what?
They said about the insecurity. About the reports. Yes,
but
I am saying
having the opportunity to be on the air, you shouldn't be irresponsible. You should be responsible.
No one has talked. We've talked about it. We talked it even on your program.
Yes.
We have all talked about the fact irresponsibility should not be condoned.
Exactly, yeah.
But where you see state actors calling people on phone because what host the program with, and my warning,
threatening.
What does that got to do with it? You understand? And
in the rumble style, in the rumble style,
I'm on for a common numasem. Opaches or mamma can
all right.
Into distance feeding. Look, my brother. No, flashy programs. No flashy programs.
Oh,
Mami, come asem. Flashy programs now.
But security.
No, it's. I'm talking about. Oh, what are you talking about?
Okay.
I am saying that economic hardships.
Okay.
If there are what other insecurity, youth unemployment, because the economy has not expanded to absorb them.
Okay.
That creates unemployment. All
right.
That creates, because if your flashy programs is all combined gives you 42 billion, and you have taken over 530 billion, And this money has not been invested in the economy to expand, to absorb the teeming number of unemployment from even contractors who have not been paid, from road contractors who the government owes them over 9 billion, from the breakdown of the banks, from a lot of institutions that have collapsed.
Breakdown of the bank.
Yes, I'm talking about the cleaning of the banking sector.
Okay, but caused by you.
It's not caused by
the president.
You see,
former
you have
president
come in to
admitted.
fix a problem.
No, the former president admitted that he caused it.
He didn't admit
He
that.
didn't
Please
admit it.
Don't
Do you want me to
that
read that to
No,
you?
why did he admit?
In his statement, I'll read it to you. Don't worry.
In any case, you came in to solve the problem. You cannot keep referring
Also,
to
you admit that he caused the problem.
You say you were using 9 billion to solve the problem.
You never said you were using.
Okay.
Oh, you
so
Honorable
Timothy Ataboadey,
you ended up
Awontiirim,
using 25 billion to solve the bank.
former
And yet the crisis
MP
are
for
there.
Busa
You collapse
North,
it into CBD.
and
banks
Frederick
play a
Kofi,
special role.
Ameyaw, head of information, permanent mission of Ghana to the UN, member of the
One man quite kasa me.
Mami kind of
yes, opposition.
in the old power in Jamaican kasa.
Yes, sir. Youth unemployment is obviously a national security. We share a history now. And important is almost started. I'm saying people started with the youth unemployment program now. We have to continue with it up to their work challenges. Because as at that time, national security identified that say the youth unemployment it can pose as a threat. We should fix the country movement now. It's all about employment and fixing the economy and the infrastructure. Look at the number of contractors who have not been paid. Who's the contractors who even youth now want to concrete.
Yeah.
But most of the projects have come to a standstill. Should get fund 1.5.
Some of the e-levy betray.
Oh, na say many e-levy there. E-levy near mama so many way. No say e-levy and bomb to fertilizer subsidy. E-levy and bomb increase fuel. E-levy and bad. One fan crop for Juma. To e-levy there say I bet than be bia wo de be ye Juma.
All right. So
that's a margin 530 billion na. That's a man fa anya fia. A man fa anya hwia. E-levy mo be about barely about 7 billion na mo de be ye Juma mana ye. What is that kind of bomb and through the financial infractions our Auditor General say cumulatively 33 billion.
All right, thank you. Honorable, me that's it. Minia. Ameyaw.
The woman titia.
Yeah, the sorry so.
Yeah, the sorry
so 2 minutes. So the memo honorable 2 minutes.
The time now 2 minutes.
What the man had to wrap up.
No clear woman is there. No clear woman is there on the issue of the security. Honorable expanded conversation. And on every score, I can tell you, say, a banwe airborne homework. I see a banwe any su kesiye, okay? And that is our philosophy and our principle to liberate the individual energy of every Ghanaian.
But you don't show it.
What I say? That is why we are concentrating on the Ghanaian, individual Ghanaian. And I can tell you with the greatest of respect and humility and on authority without apologies. Say a MPP administration and the emra enacted laws, the policies and programs about it takes care of you, the ordinary Ghanaian, individually. The NDC as a government, only be that. From social democracy. For me, the amendment say you pay a buyer or bet see you suffer. You pay a buyer.
Thank you, Kofi.
They will get there when they cross it.
Head of information, permanent mission of Ghana to the UN, or a member of the New Patriotic Party (NPP), Timothy Ataboadey, Awontiirim, a former member of Parliament for Busa North. Many de Boma, Gako, Isaac, Ramikredo PK, Agrohinani Opoku, and a year. Adi boom, Adi Jumadino, Ebro. Yami Adomechna, you best sign, Asia.